Okay, hi everyone. So today's video I'm going to be sharing with you my plans and I guess goals for 2023 for my collection. I'm actually going to go through each one of my binders and tell you kind of what I plan to do with each one of them, and then at the end I'm going to talk about just a few extra things. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. I'm kind of grabbing binders at random, so we're just gonna kind of figure this out as we go. But the first one I have here is Twice. So I actually did some recent reorganizing and stuff. Twice was one of the binders I reorganized, so I think I'll talk about that more in a different video. But I do kind of plan to keep things the same with my Twice collection. I'll be collecting Jihyo in full, and then the occasional OT9 set here and there. When it comes to any like solos or units and stuff, I'll just kind of have to take that as they come, just because it's just a little hard to tell what I'll want to do. But I'm not going to give myself any like strict rule for anything because that just seems kind of pointless. Yeah, I don't really plan to change much. I will say I've downsized this collection a tiny bit, and I think my video after this will be more about that, so I'm not really going to talk about it much here just because it doesn't really apply much, but I'm just going to like continue to collect pretty much the same exact way as I was before for Twice. And I am definitely going to have to try to catch up with a lot of older things. I know I've been trying to work on this for a really long time and it's never really come to fruition, but I mean, I've only really been relying on trades. I haven't like bought a photo card in Lord knows how long at this point. I'm not in a place where I really want to buy any photo cards, so I'm still kind of like, you know, only relying on trades, which I do need to like post trades and stuff because now that it's after the holidays we can start that up again. But yeah, I just haven't made much progress on like back collecting for Twice much this year, and I do want to kind of work on it a lot more and finally kind of get caught up. I feel like that would be really beneficial to me and how I feel about my Twice collection. When it comes to collecting extra things for Jihyo, I did actually take all of my non-album things from this binder and put them in a different one. So just for now, they are in this A5 binder that I have. I did buy a different one that they'll eventually go in when it comes in, but I needed to do some immediate reorganization just because like I couldn't stop thinking about it. But I really like how this looks, just because first of all, I do have my Twice cards in a 2-inch binder now, and there is still some room to grow. And also, while this is kind of full, I do think it'll be fine. Like, it just doesn't grow too much. And while there is a lot of non-album stuff for Twice, it's not too big of a deal. So I think having things split up like that will also be pretty good for my Twice collection. Yeah, I am really excited for Twice's comeback that's coming up in March. I am hoping I'll be able to buy it when it comes out. So yeah. Okay, so this binder, first we can talk about my Itzy collection. So I've been thinking about what I want to do with my Itzy collection for a really long time. My Chaeyoung collection isn't going anywhere, but I've been thinking about like, do I want to add another member? I've even thought about doing OT5, which at this point in my collecting life, I don't think is a very good idea for me. But yeah, I've been thinking about maybe collecting Yeji as well as Chaeyoung, and I just am not entirely sure how I want to move forward with this. Of course, my Chaeyoung collection, like I already said, is here to stay, but it's just, I don't know, I'd like to maybe add some things in 2023. We'll see how that goes though. Right now, my main priority is just like catching up with Chaeyoung because I'm a little bit behind and I still have to do some work on Cheshire and stuff like that. So I will just be worrying about that until, you know, the time comes where I can focus on other things. So I do think I maybe want to try to reorganize my Itzy binder. I want to see if it'll work in a A5 binder, kind of. So I'll just have to see how that goes. But yeah, I do plan to just kind of keep up with Itzy as much as I can in the new year, and then we can move on to Brave Girls. It's the same for Brave Girls as well. I just want to kind of keep up with them. I am still missing a few cards from Thank You. Yeah, I'm missing these 2 cards still, but it's not too big of a deal. I'm praying, hoping to God we get a comeback soon. It's been a long time without them, and I hate that. I hate it so much, and it's really kind of frustrating, but you know, what can you do? Okay, we can talk about NCT next. Plan for 2023 is to either finish my Mark collection or get close to finishing my Mark collection. I still have quite a few cards from earlier eras that I need to get to, and I just kind of like to catch up with that, as well as like catching up with a lot of the newer releases that I've missed. just because I still need to get some cards from Mixtape, and I'm also missing cards from Two Baddies as well as Candy, so I do need to work a lot on that, but I am not too worried about it. I will say that I did actually I decided to stop collecting Taeyong, and I think just based on how I'm feeling about collecting right now, that was the best decision for me. I am keeping some of his cards, but moving forward, I'm not collecting him fully. I think it was honestly really time for me to slow down with collecting NCT, because as much as I love them as a whole, it's just not sustainable collecting so many members from one single group. Especially this year, they have had so many releases, and that's like including 127, Dream, Wavy, and I just feel lucky that we didn't get a full group release this year, because that would have stressed me out a lot. Yeah, I'd kind of like to just slow down a lot with this collection, just because it's a lot to do everywhere, and I want to still enjoy collecting NCT. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else really much to talk about here. I don't know, it really just kind of depends on what is happening with NCT this year. I know SuperM is coming back in 2023. It's difficult to say I'll really do much to collect that. As much as I like SuperM, I also feel like I don't need to go super hard when it comes to collecting them, like I kind of have in the past. You know, buying so many albums and stuff like that, just because it's really not, you know, that necessary. So when SuperM does do something, I will collect Mark and stuff, but it's not like the biggest deal for me collection wise. I don't know, it's really hard to tell what NCT will do in the new year, especially, I don't know, because I'm kind of hoping for new units and stuff, or at least a new unit, I guess, but I also don't think I'll collect anything from anything new that happens, and I think I'm going to try to hold myself to that. My main goal is just to kind of finish and catch up with what I already have going here, just so I don't go crazy, you know? So the last thing I want to talk about is my Attention collection. There's kind of a lot to talk about here, but I will say, like, I don't know if I officially ever stated this on my channel anywhere, but I am not collecting full group anymore, and that's mostly just when it comes down to like circle cards and stuff. So anything like pre-2018 and things like that. I may still collect OT7 for their What If Love comeback, but that really just depends on whether I can actually find all of those cards or not, because if it becomes an issue, I'm not really going to worry about it. I am caught up all through novella and stuff, but I haven't gotten a start on, I think the album is called Codename Arrow. I have not made any progress on that, and if I can't get everything I need, then I'll just collect Xiao and maybe Hwani, which is an interesting way to segue. So Hwani and Xiao are on Boys Planet right now, and I'm going back and forth on whether I want to watch this stupid show, because I have officially sworn off watching any survival show of any sort, and that is because I feel like watching so many in the past has just made me go absolutely insane. I just hate the way that they make me feel, so I've just kind of tried to stay away from them, which it's a big reason why I didn't watch Girls Planet. I don't know, like I said, I'm going back and forth with Boys Planet because I'd really like to support Hwani and Xiao, but it's just, it can be way too hard to deal with. I don't know if anything will come of them being on the show, but I mean, speaking in hypotheticals, if they do make it in the final lineup, I will, if either of them do, I'll collect them, just because they're both like pretty much alts, so of course I'm going to want to kind of continue that collection. I also don't really want to commit to like even standing the final group, because I also just have not really ever enjoyed, like, in the end, being a fan of temporary groups. Like, it's never fun around the end of the line when things, you know, wind down. It's never really fun, so I'm not entirely sure how I will really feel about, you know, really being into the final group, but that is if I watch the show. So yeah, there's kind of a lot of things that could happen with this Attention collection. It could either be stopped entirely, or it could continue in some way or another, and I'm just not entirely sure how it will happen, but I'm at least committed to moving forward with it regardless of the direction that it takes. So yeah, I guess that's all we really need to know. There's not really much to say otherwise. So here I have my two little A5 binders. So this one here is my Blackpink binder, and I will say I don't know how much I want to say I'll work on this collection, just because I have kind of missed, or I'm like I'm behind on collecting Born Pink and stuff. I honestly feel like I really have to be in the right mood to collect Blackpink because I just don't feel like doing it right now, and I don't want to let go of this collection at all. Like, I'd really like to keep moving forward this collection, but I'm also at a place in my life where I don't feel like I want to give YG my money anymore. I don't know what it is about it, but I just don't ever feel compelled to give YG any of my money, and I feel like it was a miracle that they got me to do it in the first place. But yeah, I just think I will be taking a break from this collection until further notice. I am not letting go of it though, I will tell you that right now. As of right now, I just don't have any plans to sell it, trade it off, anything. And I will probably come back to it sometime in the future, but I just think for right now I just don't want to worry about it, so I'm not going to, you know. So that's all I have to say about Blackpink. And then for this binder here, I am waiting very impatiently for a Lightsome comeback. I don't know why it's taken so long. I need to catch up with their cards from the last release, and then I will of course move forward collecting Choan. I did kind of decide in the past that I did want to collect Joohyun as well as Choan, but I think as long as I'm kind of not collecting as much as I was before, I think I'm just gonna stick with Choan for now. There's still possibility for me to come back for Joohyun in the future, but I think it's just best for me to like focus my efforts in one place for, you know, until I get to a place where I can kind of do more with my collection. I would really love to, you know, collect more for Lightsome, but especially since they kind of lost some members, I don't feel as motivated to collect more for the group. But I am happy with like my plans to just collect Choan at the moment. But I also do want to say that I plan to collect Yoonjin as well. I just need to catch up with some things. I just have 2 cards from, you know, their most recent comeback, and I would like to get some more. I probably won't collect that album fully just because I've heard that the cards from the compact version are a little bit more expensive, and I don't plan to spend a lot of money on this collection. So I will say as long as this collection doesn't get too overly expensive, I will continue it. Especially because I feel like right now LE SSERAFIM is like one of my top girl groups. So I do want to say that Signature is also having a comeback this month in January, and I'm super excited about it, and I will be collecting Belle as long as I can, you know, find the cards. So yeah, I think that was really all I needed to update on. I also don't plan on adding any new people to my collection, but if by some miracle I do stan a new group and really get into a group enough to collect someone, I'll probably try to hold out on that as long as possible. But I'm going to try not to collect too many things, like new things. But if it just has to happen, then it has to happen, you know? And I won't really be mad about that. But with that being said, I do kind of want to talk about some other things. So some plans that I have is that the first one is that I just really need to organize everything. I first of all really need to organize my shelves in a way that I like better, because I like how it is right now, but I also have a ton of books and I have nowhere to put any of my books. I have one specific shelf for just my books, and I just don't have enough room on that shelf. So I kind of need to do some reorganizing and some different things just to kind of try to figure out how to make it less stressful for me, I guess. And yeah, I do need to work on selling a lot more things in this year. I have a lot of things that I am like downsizing and letting go of, and I don't have the motivation to sell a lot of things, especially when it comes to albums. So I do need to work on that a lot, just because literally my closet is full of albums that I want to let go of, and I just don't have the motivation to sell them. So that I need to work on. And then I do need to like really work on trying to keep up with new releases this year and not trying to get so behind like I am with NCT right now. So like for NCT, I have like 2 Dream albums I need to get, and then I have a Wavy album I need to get. And the only reason I'm not behind on 127 is because the albums are like super accessible at Target. Otherwise I wouldn't have them, basically. Like with SMCU stuff, I'm not sure I really want to collect all that, but I do think I want to buy the album because I think the album is really good, like music wise. So I would probably buy NCT's version of that. And yeah, I just feel like I'm really behind on things. So if I could kind of work on that in 2023, that would be great. But I also don't want to stress if I do get behind, because so like one thing about 2022 was that I really took a step back from collecting, and I just wasn't really collecting as much, and I just felt like it was kind of freeing not to have to worry about so much all the time, because when it really comes down to it, I'm really only collecting albums and photo cards now. I don't buy photo books, I don't buy seasons greetings, I don't buy any extra merch, and I feel so much less stressed out than I ever have in the past about my collection, which just feels really nice. And I also don't really feel like the urge or the need to get things right away, because I know things will be there when I can get to it, and if it's not, then I'll just have to be patient or not worry about it really at all, which I'm fine with. I feel like I've been just waiting for a time in my life where I'd eventually feel like this about my collection, and now that I'm there, it does honestly feel really nice. I really enjoy not having to worry about buying so much stuff, and it feels like I'm at a place in my collection where moving forward it kind of feels more sustainable and less like I'm like wasting money. And not to say that I thought I was wasting money in the past, but I also feel like, especially with how much stuff I have to sell now, it was a little bit, you know, over the top. I did also take the time in 2022, like I just let myself buy things that I really liked, like albums that I really enjoyed, and I really want to continue doing that in the future, just because I think above everything else I really do enjoy music, and I like collecting music. I really enjoy collecting physical media in general, but when it comes to music specifically, I just love to have, you know, a physical representation of the things that I love, even if it's just like buying one version of an album from some group I don't really know much about. I still think that it is something I'd like to do. When I bought Alice's Dance On, I was so unbelievably excited. Not only receive the album, but I was like dying to like put it in my cart and pay for it. And that's what I mean when I want to be like excited about my collection and stuff. So yeah, I've just been, especially this past month or two, I've been trying to listen to like newer things and groups that I haven't really listened to before. Like there was a lot of releases from 2022 that I was interested in listening to but just hadn't gotten to, and by the time like November, December came around, I really wanted to kind of, you know, catch up on everything I'd missed, and I found some real gems, and I'm looking forward to kind of keeping up with, you know, like listening to new things in 2023. I'd really like to keep up, because I felt like I got so behind at the end of 2021, and then moving into all of 2022, I was really not listening to much outside of my favorite groups. And one of my favorite things about K-pop since the beginning has just been finding really anything that I just love so much. And I love listening to as much as I can to find those things. And my like yearly favorites lists used to be really diverse, especially with like B-sides and like more nugu groups, and I'd like to kind of get back to my old ways, just because, like I've already said, above everything else when it comes to K-pop, I enjoy the music, and music is like my favorite thing ever, and I feel like I should be listening to more. As a music enjoyer, I should be branching out more and listening to new things more. So that's like a goal in this year that I really want to stick to, because it's just been bothering me so much the past year how much I have been listening to the same things. And while it can be like more comfortable, and I do get more like general comfort out of, you know, listening to the same albums and stuff I've been listening to since I was 14, I do still like want to, you know, find some new things, because I'm looking to have some fun here. But yeah, also the last thing that I think I'll really talk about is I do have other interests and other hobbies outside of just collecting and listening to K-pop, which I feel like is obvious and it's a given. And I do really like to collect other things. So I've already talked about how I am like just a music collector in general. I collect like just regular CDs and vinyl as well, and those are also things that I'd like to add more to, especially my vinyl collection, because I just feel like collecting vinyl is so satisfying to my soul. Collecting vinyl and like getting pretty variants of vinyl and stuff like that, I just love it so much. So I'd like to do more of that if possible. Yeah, but also I do a lot of reading, and with that comes a lot of book buying. Honestly, I do not buy books unless I read them first for the most part. I really do try to read things and then buy the physical, because in a lot of ways I read a lot of indie authors, so in a lot of ways it is supporting them twice by reading their book on Kindle Unlimited and then buying the physical. But also with buying books from indie authors, they do tend to be a little bit more expensive, so that's one reason why I kind of want to slow down spending money in other places so I can, you know, buy more of my favorite books. But I also this is kind of a problem. I recently started collecting like old vintage, I don't even know if vintage would be the correct word, but like old school romance novels from like the 80s and 90s, and it's just kind of like become a fixation for me. A big reason why I like them so much is because of the covers. I just think it is some of the most beautiful artwork I've ever seen. And I've kind of talked about this a little bit on Instagram before, but I really do enjoy collecting those books specifically because they are really cheap, because literally nobody wants them. So I just kind of buy them all up and keep them for myself. And I have a fat stack of them on my shelf, and They just have been like the one thing that's made me really excited about, you know, just whatever life recently. I've just been really enjoying collecting those, and like while I'm not spending as much money on that specific part of my collection, it is also space-wise an issue. So yeah, I don't know. I also do I do really want to kind of allocate some money to just spending on my other hobbies, and I don't want K-pop to be the only thing I spend money on, just because it's not really fun to feel like there's things that I want but I can't buy it because there's other things, other places that I want to buy, that I need to buy, I guess. I don't know. I think that's everything I really wanted to talk about. If you watch this whole thing, let me know some of your plans and goals for the new year, whether it be you know, personal things or, you know, K-pop collection related, whatever you want. Let me know. I'd like to know what y'all are planning to do this year. But yeah, with that said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.